welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to crack open the success of Front, a female-founded company that decided to take on, like, the email giants.
Yeah.
And get this, they hit a $1.7 billion valuation.
Wow.
And we're going to unpack, like, how...
Yeah, I think what's so fascinating about Front is they didn't just sort of ride a tech wave, right? This wasn't just like, they happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Right.
Yeah.
They solved a very real problem that I think so many businesses face, which is, just complete and utter email chaos. And so, I think we're going to go beyond just the surface level observations here and really trying to understand, like, why did their strategies work?
Yeah, and that's what makes this deep dive so valuable for you listening, right?
Right.
Whether you're knee-deep in the startup world yourself or just curious about how great companies get built. Front Story has some really, really practical lessons.
Yeah.
So picture this.
I get you.
2013, and everyone is just drowning in emails.
Oh, yeah. And not just, your personal inbox.
Right.
I mean, we're talking like the collaborative mess of team inboxes, customer support, sales, you name it. I mean, it was a nightmare.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And Front decided, okay, we're going to build a better way to manage all of this. They created software that streamlines team email and turns it into like a source of clarity instead of this huge headache.
Yeah.
Now, I know you might be thinking, right, another tech company, another tool.
Right.
But here's where Front Story gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm ready.
They understood the power of niche focus.
Okay.
So instead of trying to be everything to everyone, they honed in on this one very specific pain point,
Yeah.
email collaboration.
Email collaboration.
And they became the masters of it.
It's like that old saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, Front really took that to heart. They went deep instead of wide, and it paid off
And it really did.
big time.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a one-and-done situation either.
All right.
Front was obsessed with customer feedback, constantly listening, iterating, improving based on what they heard.
Their approach to customer feedback was phenomenal. They didn't just, send out a survey once a year
Right.
or, just sort of like passively collect data. They built a community.
Okay.
Like they had, I think, even a dedicated Slack channel
Wow.
where customers could interact directly with the Front team,
That's huge.
ask questions, give feedback.
Yeah.
It was really impressive.
I can already see how that kind of like customer-centric approach would build some serious loyalty.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they didn't stop there, right?
Yeah.
Front CEO, Mathilde Collin, she knew that a company is only as good as its people.
Yeah. And she prioritized creating a company culture that people wanted to be a part of.
Okay.
One that valued transparency, autonomy, and trust. And it wasn't just lip service.
No.
Right? This commitment to culture resulted in Front boasting, like a 90% employee retention rate.
Which is unheard of.
Which is unheard of.
Especially in the tech world.
Especially in tech, right?
Where people are constantly jumping ship.
Yeah.
It really goes to show that, investing in your team's well-being isn't just the right thing to do. It's a strategic advantage.
Totally.
Like it actually makes business sense.
It makes dollars. It makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Okay, so we've got niche focus, customer obsession,
Yes.
killer company culture.
Check.
But let's not forget about the money.
Right.
Yeah.
The other important thing.
Yes, the other important thing.
Yeah.
Front also managed to raise a ton of funding while keeping their vision intact.
This is where I think Mathilde Collins' leadership really shines.
Okay.
She understood the importance of securing funding for growth,
Right.
but was also adamant about not relinquishing control, right? And this is a common challenge for startups, I think, but even more so for female founders who often face bias in the venture capital world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tricky.
It's like walking a tightrope, right?
It is.
But she managed it beautifully.
He did.
Front secured a total of $200 million in funding over multiple rounds
Wow.
while maintaining a controlling stake in the company.
Amazing.
Talk about a power move.
Yeah, that's impressive. It really is, yeah. It's a testament to her vision and her ability to play the long game. But, let's be real, even with all these smart moves, Front's journey wasn't without its bumps in the road.
Okay, so you're telling me even a company that seems to have, cracked the code still faced challenges?
Oh, absolutely.
That's kind of reassuring, actually.
It's important to remember that even the most successful companies,
Yeah,
make mistakes. That's all part of the process.
right.
And one of the big challenges that Front faced was balancing growth with profitability.
Okay.
So, in the early days, they prioritized rapid expansion, right? Which is common for startups.
Right, got to grab that market share.
Exactly. But delaying profitability for too long can be risky,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you become reliant on external funding.
Right.
It's like building a house on a foundation that's still drying.
And if that funding dries up, the
Exactly.
whole thing could collapse.
Precisely. And that's a lesson that a lot of startups unfortunately learn the hard way,
Yeah.
especially during, more turbulent economic times.
Yeah, totally. So what did Front do?
So they recognize the need to shift their focus
Yeah.
towards building a sustainable business model.
Mm-hmm.
And, they made some tough decisions. They streamlined their operations
Okay.
and eventually found that sweet spot between growth and profitability.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds like they were able to, course correct
They did, yeah.
before it was too late. But I imagine, building a sophisticated software platform like Front's
Yeah.
came with its own set of challenges, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Developing and maintaining cutting-edge technology
Yeah.
is no small feat, let me tell you.
Right.
Front had to overcome some serious hurdles, from building complex integrations with other platforms to, scaling their infrastructure to handle a rapidly growing user base.
Yeah, I never really thought about the, behind-the-scenes complexity of it all.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah.
Easy to forget that there are, real people grappling with these really complex challenges.
Totally. And it's not just about the technical aspects either.
Sure.
Front was also competing in a fierce market.
Right.
Going head to head with giants like Slack and Microsoft.
Oh, yeah. Talk about feeling the pressure.
Yeah, talk about some big players.
How did they even, how did they manage to stand out?
Well, I think, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
They stayed laser focused on their niche and continued to deliver exceptional value to their target audience.
They're people.
They didn't try to be everything to everyone.
Right.
They doubled down on what they did best,
Okay.
which is collaborative email management.
That's so smart. It's like they knew their lane.
Yeah.
And they stayed in it even when the competition got tough.
Exactly. They continued to innovate. They iterated on their product. They listened to their customers, always finding ways to make their lives easier.
So what you're saying is even though Front faced all these challenges,
Yeah.
they were able to overcome them by staying true to their core values
I think so.
and focusing on their strengths.
Yeah, and I think that's a really powerful lesson for all of us, right? I mean, challenges are inevitable, but it's how we respond to them, that defines us. And Front's story, I think, is a testament to the power of resilience, adaptability, and a relentless focus on the customer.
100%. So knowing all of this about Front now,
Yeah.
how can we apply their experience to our own lives and work, right? Even if we're not building the next big tech company, there's got to be something we can learn from their journey.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. There's there's a goldmine of wisdom tucked into Front's story.
Yeah.
And it's not just for techies or whatever.
Right.
I'm curious, for you, what's been the biggest takeaway so far? What's really resonated with you as we've kind of unpacked Front's journey?
It's tough to choose just one because there are so many good lessons here.
Right.
But if I had to pick just one thing,
Okay.
it would be the unwavering focus on the customer, right? Not just meeting their needs, but truly understanding them, anticipating them, building that genuine relationship. And I think that's something that transcends industries.
Totally. You're right. That customer centricity piece really struck a chord with me, too.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and forget that at the heart of every business, every interaction is another human being.
Right.
Right. And if we can remember that, if we can approach every challenge, every opportunity with that mindset, it could be a real game changer, I think.
Couldn't agree more. And, speaking of game changers,
Yeah.
Front's commitment to sustainable growth is another big one, right? In a world that often glorifies crushing it and hustle culture,
Right.
they took a different approach. They focused on building a really solid foundation. even if it meant, slightly slower growth in the beginning.
Right. It's a good reminder that slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah.
Like, we all get caught up wanting these instant results.
Oh,
But sometimes the most sustainable success comes from playing the long game.
100%. And, I think that resonates with what we were discussing earlier about, Front navigating those inevitable challenges.
Yeah.
Their story reminds us that setbacks aren't failures.
Right.
They're opportunities to learn, to adapt,
To grow.
to grow, exactly, and to come back stronger.
Love that.
And,
Yeah.
success isn't linear.
Right.
It's about embracing the ups and the downs and understanding that every step, whether it's forward or backward, is part of the journey.
That's such a powerful message. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Front's incredible journey,
Yeah.
what's the one big question that we want to leave our listeners with today?
How can we, like Front, embrace both the challenges and the triumphs in our own lives and our own careers? How can we adopt that customer-centric approach, build those really meaningful relationships, and navigate those inevitable bumps in the road, with resilience and a focus on sustainable success?
I love those. Are fantastic questions to ponder.
Yeah.
And on that note, a huge thank you to you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Front.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you walk away with some valuable insights and maybe even a little bit of inspiration.
For sure.
And remember, the learning doesn't stop here, right? We encourage you to keep exploring these ideas
Absolutely.
and see how you can apply them to your own life.
100%.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.